Station gang, welcome back to another new episode of Ink and Insights, our weekly comic book highlight show where we talk about news, notes, comic books we loved, everything in between. As always, I'm your boy Stu from Dr. Doom Fan Club. I'm joined by my brother, who I just spent the weekend with, man. My man E. How you doing, bro? Happy Heroes Hangover. How's life?
Oh
I know, I
man.
know, I know. If y'all, for those of you that don't know, he had flight delays. He was stuck in Denver overnight, so he got home way late, a day later than most of us. But he did get home. He is with us tonight, bro. How you doing? How you holding up?
It is absolutely fantastic to be back to some kind of normalcy. I am not gonna lie, man. It was brutal. Heroes was still absolutely worth it, even if you have an 18-hour delay and you're stuck sleeping on a cot in the middle of a Denver airport. Still totally worth it. But yeah, I'm happy to be back, happy to be doing the show with you, and happy to be finally talking about comics again, ones that we read, not just what we picked up from a certain convention.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Heroes, it was a great time. We are going to do our official recap next week over on E's channel on 9 Panel Grid. Nick has his wedding anniversary tonight, so happy anniversary to
Happy
Mrs. and
anniversary.
Mrs. Comic Culture. Yeah, but he obviously had higher priorities. We'll put it that way.
Every once in a while,
But
we got to let his
every
family have them, you
yeah, I
know?
guess, yeah, I guess you can do it. But yeah, man, we'll be back next week to recap our heroes experience and everything went down, everybody we met, all the cool stuff we got. So make sure you check in there, and we'll also probably be showing off a cool thing or two this Friday night on Blaine Fable and his amazing friends. If you guys are there for the blaming, so make sure you check that out. But yeah, man, as always, let's say what up to the chat real quick. We only got one person in here so far, but it's the homie we saw at
Yes.
Heroes Neighborhood Merc Station, brother. Good to see you. Yeah, man, it was a blast. It was so good to meet you. Officially, hope you guys had a great rest of the weekend, man. But yeah, exhausting, but so much fun. Such a beautiful weekend, man. So glad to see you out there, bro. Hope you made it home safe and sound. But yeah, man, let's get into our comic books of the week real quick. Before we do so, though, I want to remind everybody to head on over to patreon.com/Ink and Insights. You can sign up for free. It is your one-stop shop for all things Ink and Insights. We're going to give previews of upcoming content. Our newsletter is over there, which we work so hard on. Interview experts. We got studio space with other creators. Our own comic book strip done by Monty Keene and E, yours truly. So, yeah, make sure you head on over there, guys, and sign up. It is free, and make sure you subscribe to it. Subscribe to us on all our socials: Dr. Doom's Fan Club, 9 Panel Grid, and Comic Culture. Across YouTube and Instagram and Blue Sky. But yeah, I just want to go ahead and plug that before we get into things. Oh, we got our boy Simpleton Station, brother. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, dude. That 20th Century Men slipcase, my God, doing incredible work, brother. But yeah, let's get into our comics, man. Let's start off with a favorite of ours, a favorite writer, a favorite series. Ultimates number 13, Dennis Camp writing. Juan Frigeri, who just got announced as a Stormbreaker, been doing excellent job with the artwork throughout this series. Federico Blee on colors and Travis Lanham on letters. Dude, it's been a minute since we've done an issue of Ultimates, and I
Yeah.
think they've kind of gotten away from those awesome one and done issues that we were getting. Just kind of like single issue stories that we were getting kind of earlier in the run, around 5, 6, 7, and they've really started building towards the event, the Ultimate Incursion event, which is going to take place later this year here in these recent issues. How have you been? Keeping up with this. You've been enjoying it since the last time we talked about it, which was quite a while ago, I believe.
Oh yeah. I mean, Ultimates continues to be one of my favorite Marvel books. Period. I think it's one of the best written, one of the best drawn, and I think that it is. I feel like I say this over and over and over. It's the glue that holds the Ultimate Universe together because
Yes.
you know, uh, Ultimate X-Men is its own particular story. Ultimate Wolverine kind of siloed into its own particular thing. Even Spider-Man, there's inklings of things that you can see that kind of maybe could build towards other stuff here, but Ultimates is the big bad story. It's the closest thing to an Avengers team versus the ultimate. villain who is the maker and the prepping and planning of his return. So, I mean, it's basically an event series stretched out, or let me take that back. It's the preparation for an event series stretched out over what appears to be a 24-month period, 2 years until the maker returns. So I'm loving it. I think this is one of my favorite series that I pick up month over month over month.
Yeah. So specifically time wise, like when are we supposed to get our payoff? Do you know the month exactly, or like it's sometime in the fall slash winter? I'm guessing, right?
So there's been some interesting rumblings recently, and I'm not sure if you had heard about this online here,
I have
but
not. No.
so Peach Momoko, who does Ultimate X-Men, she has a translator that translates the scripts into English when it's turned over to an English reading audience. And that particular person was on one of the socials. I don't remember necessarily which one, but kind of, I don't know, let it slip or maybe misspoke and doesn't know all the details. But they were like, yeah, it's a 24-month period. That's the Ultimate Universe. The maker, we're preparing for the maker's return, and then the Ultimate Universe goes away, and everyone's like, "Whoa, whoa, hold the phone. What does that mean? Like the Ultimate Universe is going away again?" And there hasn't necessarily been a whole heck of a lot of resolution that's come from that. Now, Peaches, I believe it was her husband, jumped on one of these socials to clarify and said, "We've not heard any more about a 24-month period ending. We haven't heard anything about Marvel's cash cow stopping, because if it's making money, why would they
I'm
stop
about to
doing it?"
say this has got to be, if not the hottest thing they got going, one of them.
Well, you got to remember though, the best read book, a critical darling, isn't necessarily the cash cow either, though, because
Very
ASM
true.
keeps selling,
You're right about that.
and I'll leave it at that.
That's the truth.
So,
That's the truth. That's the truth.
yeah. So, I don't know. I really, especially after that, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, we have to
Hmm.
be, because each one of these issues and every single Ultimate book is kind of a snapshot in time for that particular month. So it's supposed to be building up towards the maker's return in real time. So we're just a hair over the halfway point, and I don't know. Time will tell, but I've been enjoying the ride so far, and I think that we'll have more of an idea of what's going to happen the closer we get here. But we're too far away. We're kind of at arm's length right now.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Man, that poor translator. I feel for that dude. Kind of.
Yeah,
Yikes.
yeah, he's
Accidentally
translating
found him.
with an attorney for his NDA that he broke apparently.
For sure, man. For sure.
Yeah,
Gives a whole new meaning to the phrase "lost in translation." That's crazy. I hope. Yeah. Yeah. That sounds like an honest mistake. So I hope he doesn't get too much flack for that. But yeah, I don't.
yeah,
It is interesting to think about what's going to happen after they kind of reach the climax of this event, because it has been, I think, the home of so much great storytelling and so many great single issues. Um, whether it's Ultimate Spidey or this one in particular, for me, those are my two favorites. But
yeah.
I know people are loving Ultimate X-Men. I know there's even a couple people out there, I think, that enjoy Ultimate Black Panther. So that's
You know,
that's
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 blasphemy,
still a
dude.
thing. That's is it at this point?
it, it's a good book. It's a good book.
All right, but yeah, I love Brian Hill. I don't want to throw any shade on that dude's name. So yeah, but this one was I guess for like the kind of like um we kind of saw two different turns in reality in the last issue and what could have been, and
Hmm.
a whole lot of high concept talk. This one was really just more of uh, a recruitment type of issue, right? This shows them and the Ultimates and each team member and all their different facets doing outreach, all over the world and trying to recruit more people to their sides, whether it be establishing their own private internet network. Um, doing hands-on fight training, kind of doing these almost like these superhero camps type classes, like helping people find their catalyst, helping people find their name, what they want to do, what they want to represent. So it was cool in that way. There's also a bit of seed planting as far as spoilers, guys. Just go ahead and put that out there. But the Wasp is working. as a double agent, and she's um, shrinking herself down to mini size and spying on Tony and the team during some of their most vulnerable, intimate moments, as far as what this team is building, what they are trying to do, and their long-term goals. So two of those moments happened in this issue with Jim Hammond, the Human Torch. He sends him off somewhere where we know where he went to. We know not what it is, but Janet was there to witness that. And then also at the end of the issue, we see Tony is using his fusement, I guess, with the Immortus engine to kind of split himself up into all these different Iron Men and cover different moments in time, kind of fracture himself in order to get more done. But
That was such a cool
Jan-
moment in the book too,
it
man. I
was
love
very
that
cool.
revelation about how they built that out because it's been so long since we've seen Tony really doing anything besides like kind of healing and getting himself kind of up and ready since the Hulk had his way with him.
Yeah, seriously, bro. Like, bro, that was absolutely brutal, and I love that bit of conversation in the previous issue about between him and Doom about him questioning Doom. Did Doom allow him to be in that position? Because in essence, he was taking out the only guy who could really kind of see through his grand plan or figure out what he was doing, and would it be a convenient death. So this, I love the back and forth of the last issue. Everybody kind of trying to figure out what was what, who was on what team, how they were going to move forward. But yeah, like I said, in this one we get like Tony here, on the Ultimates private network, teaching people how to build a Molotov cocktail from household ingredients. So like this is one of the ways that they're going about, building their resistance effort and recruiting people over to their side. They're leaking files on this network, showing people the truth. So, like, what did you think about the like I like the Luke Cage part when they had him in the how he's kind of like revolutionizing the prison system. What did you think about like these homegrown efforts by the team to bring more regular civilian folk over to their side?
It felt like a very quick resolution for it, but I feel like that's
Yes.
also what we've gotten because it's that snapshot of a 1 month period. Like that's the handcuff that Marvel has kind of put themselves in with these things is that you have a lot of storytelling to do in a short period of time. So you got to catch people up really quickly. So it felt very quick, but I will give them some leeway here because again, there's a lot of things happening here. And while we're experiencing it over, 3 minutes, this entire thing happens over a month worth of time, and especially knowing how it ends where Iron Lad is here, there, and everywhere at certain points, you can tell how it was definitely meant to take a little bit more time than our experience for it. So I'm not mad at it. I really liked, the best part about it, and you called it, was Luke Cage, because you saw inklings of everything here, there, like the Molotov cocktail, Iron Lad going full on Tyler Durden, teaching people how to be anarchists. Um, but Luke Cage's part was awesome because it was the true rehabilitation. It was the true teaching moments. It was everything that the prison system right here in the world that we, live and breathe. It's what that is supposed to be. And it was kind of cool seeing like the idealized version of that on the pages of comic book because, if we can't have it in real life here, it's there's nothing wrong with seeing what it could be and maybe inspiring us just the way that they're inspiring the people of this world. So
Yeah.
I really dug that.
Amen to that, bro. Um, you know, in the recruitment drive, we see him, Tony reach out to the gods themselves, who basically, I think, what did he say? Like, I reached out to God, and God said he was too busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just super dope to see that. We also saw, I think, Ultimate Iron Fist for the first time there in one of those um, uh, incarceration scenes. I think he was
Yeah.
in there with a bunch of prisoners, so that was cool to see. I love um, a lot of these ultimate versions of these characters. I think they've done it, particularly like Human Torch. I think they've done such a great job, like rendering and bringing these characters to life and giving them, paying no homage and respect to, you know, the I guess like the bare basics of that character in terms of their their um their Marvel legacy, but also doing something awesome and completely new with them, and that's been dope to see, dude. What do you think is going to go? I got to ask you though, man. because the whole thing was basically a recruitment drive, and then we get more oh shit moments with Janet. How do you think this
Yeah.
is? How do you think this is all going to break down? Do you think it's like? Do you think it's like? Do you think like she's gonna point out some weakness? Nick Fury and all his bad dudes are gonna act on it, and they're gonna handle it with ease. Do you think Tony is aware of what's going on? That she's a snitch, and because they're all talking about thinking in 4D and stuff like that. So you have to think like for as much as much time as Doom and Tony spent back and forth about thinking outside the box and you know throwing away the old standards of thinking, like for Janet just shrinking down and spying on them seems kind of A to B to me. You know what I mean? So I feel
Yeah.
like they would have something in place to maybe catch that, or I don't know if they're playing dumb. What is your prediction? I guess as it were
Ooh.
on that.
Um, I don't know. It's hard to tell, but there's a lot of
It
things
is.
that are working. There's a lot of things that are working in favor of the story. One of them being that in the, I don't remember what the title was. It was the Ultimate Universe 1 Year book that was written by Dennis Camp and the artwork by Jonas Scharf. And in that one, we see Nick Fury, who kind of realizes the council's wrongdoing, I guess, if you
Yeah.
will, and realizes that maybe what they're doing to the world and to the universe is not for the betterment of the people. So he kind of tries to go astray, kill the council, the cabal of villainous people that are there. And you have to wonder. And Nick Fury is revealed to be a life model decoy, right? So they just replace him with another one, and this has kind of like been an
It was
ongoing thing.
brutal.
Like, yeah, we just wait until he kind of gets a conscious, and then off him and replace him with another one. So
It's like you're so cute. You do this every time. Like
yeah, it was brutal,
it
dude.
was. It was
We
rough,
walked
man.
through the entire plan, and then just to see, it's like, ah, really
And
again?
Bro's like pulling out all the stops, trying to prevent them from doing what they're doing. But yeah.
So there's one of two things that could be happening. Van Dyne could be in there as maybe a triple agent, if you will. Maybe she is
Hmm.
working with a conscious laden version of Nick Fury to take them down from the inside, all the while looking like they're working against the Ultimates. Could be that she truly is a double agent and she's just working against them, but maybe they're trying to get as much information from her unbeknownst to her as possible. um as far as predictions though, I'm still riding hard with the one that I made so early on when we were talking about an issue. Gosh, I think it might have been issue 4 of the Ultimates, where the Doom that we know in this universe, who is
Mm.
Reed Richards here, I still really think that there's a possibility that the Maker never went away. The Maker has been in their ranks all this time, working his machinations here, and maybe, just maybe, it's the Doom that was missing a part of his brain that was the one that disappeared. I don't know. That's my really cool, I really hope that works out some way moment. So
And it's dude, that one's always stuck in the back of my head too because before the issue came out, Dennis Camp said something on Twitter about if you want a hint or some type of idea about what Doom is going to look like in the MCU, you should pay attention to this issue. So that's always like I don't know, just stayed in the back of my mind, man. I can't wait to see. Yeah, I can't wait to see Doom. I think to me is, you know, obviously no shocker here, but the coolest part of the equation in this story.
yeah,
And
for
I
sure.
can't, and it's just even like the last issue realizing what he was really trying to do the whole time with them. I love it. He's like, all those poor mice that you. It was so good, man, and I don't know. I love the insidious mystery, as it were, behind that character and what the future holds. So yeah, man, kind of a little bit of a placeholder of an issue, but all the same, still a great one. And yeah, Juan Frigeri doing a great job on the art. So shout out to him, especially that page there on the left. I thought was excellent
Oh
work.
yeah, yeah. The manifestation of Thor in the clouds. That's awesome. That's really really great looking. I don't know if it's Juan that gets the credit or the colorist, but whoever it is, like, kudos to you. That looks
Yeah,
awesome.
because this one just didn't have a whole lot of like crazy moments or big spreads, just per the storytelling. So it was really cool that they carved one out of that page. Absolutely.
Yeah, this
Um,
issue reads like a Captain America speech. Like it's
it
inspirational, it's
does.
motivational. Like that's
It
that's what it
does.
all is.
That's a great way to put it, bro. It really does. Oh yeah. All right, real quick before we move on to our second book of the night, I just got to say what up to the chat. Bunch of people hopped in here. We got
Heck yeah,
Omega in the building. Station brother, hope you are well. Hell yeah, back to the regular programming, man.
and
Good
it
to have
feels
you
so
back.
good.
It does. Hope you're doing well, bro. Good to see you. We got our homie, the Comic Control in the building. Station brother, hope you are doing well. I always want to call him DC. I'm
I
doing
know.
my best. I'm
I was
doing my
working
best.
with Stu all weekend of Heroes Con, making sure I sat him down, and every time he said DC, slap him on the wrist, be like, "No, it's Comic Patrol."
Yeah. I got you, bro. So, Station, hope you're doing well. Omega said, "Did y'all see that article where Zach Davison spilled the beans about it?" Yep,
That's the
there we
one.
go.
That's
Yeah,
the one.
yeah, man. It'd be interesting to see
Crazy.
how it all unfolds from here.
Yeah.
We got our brother Nick in the building. Station, bro. Uh,
What are you doing?
why would the good book sell well? Yeah, if your anniversary is just reading the two new issues of Steel Streets and chilling, bro, I need me one of them.
I mean, yeah,
So
you're doing anniversaries right, I guess.
happy
My,
anniversary to you and the missus, brother. Hope you're having a great night. Um, Neighborhood Merc said, I just picked up volume one of Ultimate Blanket. Dude, Ultimate, like, I would say volume one, even probably volume two is good. It just gets a little too slow for me then.
oh,
But then
dude.
again, I'm just saying, I think it would definitely be the type of read that is meant for collected. You know what I mean? I feel like collected is definitely the way to go with Ultimate.
I would agree with that. The last issue, though, man, the last issue, I'll just say, T'Challa is hanging out a lot with Storm, and Killmonger is hanging out a lot with Okoye. And
A word.
yeah, there's things happening. It's getting
So
spicy.
it's turning into like Wakandan swingers over there or something. What's going on, man?
I don't think that's a four-way thing that's happening here. I think that there's a clear divide, and it's going to get interesting.
Mm. Oh yeah. Who's on the art on that? Is it still Caselli
Yeah, he's
or is it like he's in there every now and then somebody else is?
more often than not, he's on there. I
Okay,
think
cool.
Carlos Nito was like the pitch hitter on that one, but still, if you're gonna have a pitch hitter, stylistically, totally works.
Yeah, absolutely. Caselli's so underrated. So
Yeah.
glad to see he's still on that one. We got Brian LCS Station, man. We just saw
What up,
Brian
Brian?
over the weekend a couple times at Heroes Station. Sir, hope you're doing well. Hope you got home safe. We got our boy Verno in the chat. Station Blood Splatter Chatter. I will be with Verno and Link tomorrow night reviewing 28 Years Later over on Blood
Oh,
Splatter Chatter. Make sure you check that out, 9 p.m. Eastern. Hell yeah. Nick said the Council of Lads. I love that. The Council of Lads was dope. You can feel him slipping mentally, and I'm here for it. Yeah, definitely
mm-hmm.
stretching himself a bit too thin there. We got our boy Edson in the house station, bro.
Edson,
Hope you're
what up,
doing well. Thank you. So good to see you. Thank you for coming through. We got Christina in the building. We finally got to meet Miss Christina Payne
dude?
over the weekend. It was wonderful. So dope to see her.
Absolute highlight of the con.
Yeah, bid and win on a piece at the art auction as well, supporting comics curing cancer. Such a great person, Christina. So glad to see you and to meet you, officially in person this past weekend. Hope you got home safe. Hope you had a great time. Hope you had a great first Heroes. We got our boy Roscoe, Station Bro. It was
Yes.
so good seeing you. Hell yeah! I got to introduce my daughter to Roscoe on Sunday, so
Oh,
it was
dope.
yeah, dude. It was great to see Roscoe a couple times, man. And our boy's looking great. Lost a ton of weight. Just looked happy and healthy, and that made me happy. So, hell yeah, bro. So good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great con. Hope you got home safe, dude. I miss it already too. Take me
I
back.
know.
If only I had I could bottle up my 7-year-old's energy and just throw it in like a 20
Oh,
ounce and just sip on that throughout the week. I'd be good to go. Because come Sunday, you got no matter how much you love it, you got no gas in the tank. So it
yeah.
is what
I
it is.
mean, I believe they named that something similar to a certain member of the New Warriors by the name of Speedball. I think that's what they call it. I'm just maybe
Indeed.
Marvel character, nothing else, just the Marvel character I'm referencing.
Yeah, calm down there, Belushi. But yeah, man, let's move on to our second comic of the night. One of my favorite comics on the shelf these days. This one blew me away.
Yes.
E, do you want to take this one, or we can collab, or what do you want to do, bro?
Yeah, I'll take it, man. But you ain't gonna
Oh
be able
yeah,
to shut me up because I loved this issue here.
do it, brother.
Batman and Robin, Year One, Number 8, written by Mark Waid, with artwork by Chris Samney, colors by the great Mateus Lopez, and letters by Clayton Cowell. Man, what a journey! What a ride! What a fantastic, I guess, plot moving issue, because we get a lot of cool things that are happening here. We start off this issue with such a cool thing that for the Batman mythos, right? We see Batman and Robin on patrol, just kind of doing their thing, low level crime, as they're making, investigating, stopping these low level thugs and things like that. And I loved the kickoff of this issue, like before the credit page even hits, and you see them take down one of these thugs, and Robin picks up a gun, not with the intention to shoot it necessarily, as he states back to Batman, but he picks up the gun that was dropped by a thug, points it at the dude, and he wants to strike fear in him, right? And he tells Batman, smacks that thing right out of his hands. He goes, "We do not do that." Like, and he is like as cold and as stern as you can possibly be. And in the background, rendered beautifully by Chris Samney, is the memory of the bullet
Oh
going
my
off by
god.
Joe Chill, the necklace shattering and the pearls hitting the ground. And in the foreground, you see Bruce and Robin having this back and forth. And Robin's he's like saying, I was just trying to scare him. I had no intention of shooting it. And he basically says, if you need to use an item to strike fear into the hearts of these people, then you are not doing it right. Like, you are the fear that is going to be, like, putting them in their place, not this silly weapon. And it just struck so hard to the mythos of Batman and what it means for him to be a superhero, and what he's installing into Dick Grayson. This series, I love the fact that it's called Batman and Robin Year One, because it is truly both of their journeys. You see the journey of
Yes. Yep.
Bruce being a parent. You see the journey of Dick Grayson growing up to be the ward of Batman, but also being, you know, the son, basically, of Bruce. And they're both having to learn the ebb and flow of all of these different things. And that was a great learning moment and a great teaching moment for both of these characters. And I love how early on in the series you saw them butt heads over and over and over. But in this moment, it was stern and it was cold and it was harsh. But it was like, boom, immediately picked up by Robin, and he knew exactly what he meant by that action. And I think that seeing that growth was such a great way to kick off this issue here.
Dude, it
Yeah.
was fantastic. I dropped that one in the Discord chat with you and Nick, and was like, man, this is some top tier comic book. And I just thought,
Oh
like,
my god.
and just to put it in context, that was the title page, right? So really, it's just 5 or 6 panels across, a bunch of text. But it was, them taking out the criminal, the gun in his face, Batman freaking out, no guns, no guns. And like you said, those beautiful still shots of that memory, we've seen it
Hmm.
800,000 different times from 800,000 different angles. But
Yeah.
when it's done like that, and it still draws on those year one type of vibes, like with Bruce sitting there amongst his parents, I just thought it was incredible. I'm going to get to that in a second, because part of it is my it's the little things for the week. So, but yeah,
Yes.
this one is just like, basically, I like this one because it's all action. There's not, this is all kind of like a one way stop in this issue, right?
Yeah.
The Grimaldi's men are headed to Bruce Wayne's house. They have this file on possible suspects for who could be the Batman. Bruce Wayne is one of them. They're on the way to Wayne Manor, and they end up stopping him in the car,
Hmm.
stopping him and Alfred in the car. And dude, the artwork here is absolutely unreal. I mean, it's unreal on every page, but like things from the blood red coloring on the top panel with the bang, to the way those headlights look. Like, I must have stared at those headlights for a good 5 minutes before I flipped the page. I just thought it was absolutely incredible. Lopez is doing such an incredible job on the coloring. I think really undersung on this, but I think Sam Nee is doing some career best work on this series. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, it's impossible for me to disagree with that. Lopez was my colorist of the year last year. He's proving that decision to be so extraordinarily right with this series.
Mm.
it evokes the feeling of the year one, the classic color palette that's being used. Granted, it's not leaning so classic feeling that it feels dated though. It's
Right.
just it's beautiful. And Chris Samney is just the stone cold best artist to be telling this kind of story. It's minimalistic in the best way. It's crisp. It's clean. It does again, it's like if you're trying to evoke year one, our brains immediately go to Frank Miller, David Mazzucchelli. You can't deny that. So this team has to understand that, and they're leaning into the strengths of that while keeping it unique enough to make sure that hey, we appreciate that Frank and David did their thing, but this is a Mark and Chris book, and it feels that way so much. So it's just that perfect balance of everything. In this scene in particular, though, let's give it up to our homeboy Alfred, who has his
Yo,
moment, clocks the dude. While because Bruce has to play like he's this billionaire playboy who's on the
I
run, like I don't want to be shot.
I love it too. So they pull Bruce out of the car, right? They Bruce Wayne has a cop with him in the car. Alfred's driving. Bruce has a cop with him who's there as security because um, they have heightened security on all these possible suspects of Grimaldi and his crime family, and police have assigned these officers to him. So they get pulled over. The officer gets shot and killed. And I love the moment when Bruce is running away. Oh God, somebody help me! And
Yeah,
the dude holding the gun, the smoking gun or whatever. He's like, all right, well, I guess we can cross Wayne off the list.
yeah,
That damn sure ain't Batman. And in the meantime, yeah, Alfred is in the background, taking care of business. Incapacitates both of the dudes, and we see as soon as Bruce gets away from the car, he gets back on the radio to Alfred. Alfred, can you take care of these guys? I got to get to the house and take care of Dick because traveling with Grimaldi's men is Clayface. Clayface, after Clayface has assumed the identity of Bruce Wayne and is going up to the house to further investigate to make sure that there's no evidence of him being Batman. There's no um, files, whatever, paraphernalia, hidden corridors, etc., etc.
yeah,
Um, and the second part, the main part of the issue, the second part of the issue, plays out in the house between Dick and this fake Bruce, and I love the back and forth at first and how quickly really Dick figures it out that
yes,
um, he's not Batman or Bruce Wayne, and the way he ultimately deduces that he at first things seem off when he comes in the house and he going upstairs and Bruce is down there and it looks like he's just going to be like looking around like he's somewhere foreign and he doesn't know where he is. And then Dick goes back to him and he's like, "Hey, I'm getting picked on a lot in school. I feel like I'm getting bullied." And of course, Bruce has been training with him this whole time. They've been doing, they've been going out at night. Like, I think I might need some help or whatever. And then Bruce is like, "Well, I'll get Alfred to set you up, some self defense classes. All right, kiddo, we'll get that taken care of." And he's like, "All right." He's like, "All right." And then he walks away. He gets on the phone and he's trying to call out and get help. And then we get our first great shot. Like we get a
oh
couple of great full page shots, dude. I love this full page shot of Bruce turning Clayface, grabbing the phone out of his hand, and from there on, it's on. Right, like basically the rest
yeah.
of the issue is a Batman and Robin versus Clayface fight, and Clayface is nothing to tussle with. I love the Batman the animated series vibes though we got from this
Dude,
Clayface,
big
right?
time. So, it's the best version of Clayface.
It is. It
Clayface,
really
nobody
is.
cared about Clayface until the animated series hit,
Big
and we
facts,
saw
bro.
that big monstrosity. And like, oh man, dude, that page on the left that you are showcasing here, I want to own that so badly.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
it's
like
incredible. It
that
really
would be
is.
a hallmark piece to own for sure. But you're right, dude. Like that, the moments where it's what I was talking about earlier too, with Dick Grayson learning and like growing in his role. We see that. We see it's yeah, they're showing that rather than telling us. And Dick now knows how to blah blah blah. It's like no no no. Like that he's learning how to be the superhero and how to dodge bullets and how to take a punch and like how to like follow through. But what we don't know is like Batman's a detective, right? So you're seeing that skill set is also being honed with him understanding something's off here. This is definitely not Bruce. But on top of that, we also see the growth in their relationship, because he's picking up on the telltale signs, like something's off with this dude that is now my caretaker, that maybe possibly I have a level of respect for. Maybe possibly there's a little bit of warmth there for it too. So you see the relationship grow, you see his skills grow. And dude, the fact that Bruce, so the second page here, the fact that Bruce crashes through the same window that the bat crashed through to give him the you
Ooh,
know,
dude, I didn't even pick
the
that up. That's
inspiration
sick.
to be
Hey,
Batman, like,
yes.
oh, this book is amazing. This book is so freaking good, dude. This issue
Yeah,
is so good.
it is. And I love how he lands like in his arm, and he's like mired in mud up to his knees almost. But like, it's just so dope. And then like they're back and forth. He's got liquid nitrogen and vials. Of
Hmm.
course, he's encountered him once, so he's prepared himself for round two, and he's throwing these vials of liquid nitrogen. And what is he? Clayface says something like "Get away" or "Get out," and Batman says "You first" to him, and
Yeah.
he's exploding all these vials of liquid nitrogen, and he forces Clayface to retreat. Really, Clayface has to run out of the house, and of course, Batman being Batman, he scoops more of them up into a bag, and he's like, "We were ready this time. Next time we'll be, even more prepared. He won't stand a chance."
Heck yeah.
And it was just a great back and forth because when you saw, it's just like you said, dude, the progression between both Batman and Robin, and here just Batman specifically. The first time he encountered Hagen, he was completely foreign to him, right?
Hmm.
He figured out a way to kind of split him open with a batarang, but he was still it still got really really close there, and it was a fight. I'm sure that he did not want to see himself in such a
Yeah.
vulnerable position again. So it was really cool to see, how he studied, how he leveled up, and how he's going to continue to do so.
Yeah,
Per the
like
character.
Batman found a way to allow himself to escape last time. Batman found a way to basically make Clayface be on the run this time. So yeah, there's that clear progression. It's fantastic writing.
Also, is the cat out of the bag as far as Bruce and Dick being Batman and Robin? Because I don't think they necessarily like. I think if anything, they arouse more suspicions that this is, this is these two are somebody to look at. That
Oh
was
yeah. I
yeah.
think that it's definitely implied that Clayface now knows, and he's feeding that information to Two Face. Two Face has kind of been you know, in the back a little bit, kind of just playing his own game here. He's kind of working with the Grimaldis, but he's got his own thing going on the side here too. So it's such a cool thing seeing that unfold, because I think that as time goes on, the Grimaldis, well, and there's other things going on with the Grimaldis too, especially with the father figure that
Yeah,
they
the
keep.
dad. Yeah, that's gonna fall apart on him.
Yeah, something big and bad is going to happen here, but I think, I mean, it's evolving more so into the place where Two Face is the big bad of this, and there's going to be something that happens, whether it's the revelation of who Bruce and Dick are on, when they're roaming the streets at night, or I don't know, or something else is going to happen. But Two Face is definitely the main player, and they're building towards it.
Yeah, hell yeah. But yet another incredible issue, man. This is the miniseries that keeps on giving. It's been stellar every step of the way. And like I said, Wade and Sam Nee doing some career best work together. A duo that you don't want to miss out on, but definitely not now. So if you guys aren't checking this one out, I highly recommend catching up to this one. It's if you're a fan of Batman, if you're a fan of Year One, if you're a fan of the animated series, I think you will find something to love and appreciate and inside these pages. So,
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
oh yeah. Real quick, let's get to the chat before we move on to our last book of the night. Burke said, I got some videos covering Heroes Con Friday and Saturday in an interview I did with a few creators. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, bro. Y'all make sure you're subscribed, subbed up with notifications on to Neighborhood Merc for that new content. Yeah. Like I said, bro, it was awesome to meet you again. And shout out Highland Springs. Let's go Richmond, baby. Um, we got our boy James Phelps in the building.
Well,
Station James, good to see you, man. Thank you for coming through. Always good to see you. Our boy Fable in the building. Station brother.
the
Like I
one and
said, if
only.
you want to see those some of those heroes, cons, goodies in the blaming. Check out Blame Fable and his amazing friends this Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern over on the One Collection Down YouTube channel. I think that's it. Yeah, everybody's saying hello to everybody. So thank y'all for coming through. Hope everybody's having a good week. Oh, well, it's the little things. So this is one detail I wanted to shout out from that opening title card. I love, we get all our heavy emotional moments. No guns, Batman going no guns, and we get our flashbacks to the parents dying, and then on the very last panel, this line from Robin had me geeking. Okay, okay. Do you even know how hard it is to scare anybody in this costume, though? Oh man, that was just pitch perfect, hilarious, and just a nice little like I don't know, a comedic grenade there to throw in at the end of so much dramatic seriousness. So,
Yeah, bit of
uh,
levity.
absolutely, and the levity in this series is always like appropriately timed and right there when you need it. So again, I can't recommend this one enough. Um, yeah, check it out, guys. Batman and Robin Year One. All right, man. Our last comic of the night, Aliens. The conclusion to Aliens versus Avengers. This is issue number 4, of course, from Jonathan Hickman. Art by the great Assad Ribic. Colors by Assad's. I think Savorsina did the colors on Secret Wars as well. I think Savorsina is like Assad's kind of like in-house colorist, as it were, and then
You would
Corey
have to
edit on
assume.
the letters.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think he always uses them. I don't think he really has anybody else color their his work. But dude, what have you thought about the series? Up to this point, and have you been enjoying it? It's great to see these two together. Obviously, after Secret Wars. But yeah, what have you been general thoughts and feelings on this one?
Dude, I mean, in space, no one can hear you scream with delight because this has been an extraordinary series like that. Who saw that coming? Like, what?
Nice.
Aliens
Yeah.
versus Avengers being amazing? Like, I mean, not just good, but amazing? Like, what? It's awesome. It's way it's better than it has any rights to be. And you can tell that Jonathan Hickman must be having so much fun with this because he just gets to play in the Hickman sandbox, and because it's out of continuity, there's no stakes, or there's no, everything is basically open to him. There's nothing, it's no holds barred Hickman, and I really, 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 really like that. It was just it's a fantastic series through and through that plays on the mythology both in the Marvel universe and dude, a lot more from the aliens than I ever would have anticipated. So I had a heck of a time with this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think any series that gives us a gun that shoots facehuggers is gonna go down. And I think that we're on the board now. The clock is ticking for when are we gonna see that in a film? I need a facehugger gun ASAP. Um,
Yes. Oh yeah.
yeah, I guess Fetty Alvarez or to who it may concern, but yeah, please make that happen. Um, but yeah, dude, our conclusion basically sees the birth of the sinister alien that um, has all sorts of mutant genes. Right, it's the ultimate alien. This thing gets birthed out of the Sinisters. I love this opening scene with all of them around there and like thinking that they weren't going to get eaten. Then one gets eaten. Well, it's like, oh, okay, well, he's the weakest link. Surely that's not going to be the way you go with all of us, right? And then like all of
Yeah,
this.
so all us sinisters will become xenomorphs, right? Chomp, chomp, chomp.
They all think they're like holy incubators, as it were, of these, this superior race, but then they all
Ooh,
just end up
holy
getting
incubators. I like
so
that.
all end up getting eaten in the end. But yeah, dude, what did you think about Alpha Alien here with the yellow sinister thing on his little forehead there, and all these different mutant powers? We didn't see. I think my one gripe with this is I think they kind of introduced him a little late in the game, and we didn't see a whole lot of different mutants powers at work or mutations that this thing had. It was really only a couple, but it was still cool to see like kind of this ultimate alien, this ultimate xenomorph.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when you already have acid for blood and you can survive in any atmosphere, like how many new powers do you really need? He's bamfing left and right, so he can just teleport wherever the heck he needs to be. On top of that, it looks like he's got Colossus's skin,
Yep.
which seems counterintuitive. If you have acid for blood, like you kind of
Right.
want to use yourself as a weapon. But hey, say la vie, Sinister gonna do what Sinister wants. So I'm not gonna question that. It was pretty cool. I thought that he had just enough to make. I mean, because you can't. I mean, you can't make him totally ultra powerful to the point where no one would ever be able to destroy him, like by any means. You know, even if you nuke it from space, he might survive. So, like, I think they had the right balance of being incredibly powerful, but not all powerful.
Very, very well put. Um, but this one, I don't how to best to sum up this one because it all really comes down to that final showdown.
Yeah.
The bit about the Wakandans is very cool though, and about their different stargates and how they've essentially seated themselves across the stars, and how that expansion, as it were, has left them vulnerable to alien attack. And this was one of my favorite scenes where um, this homeboy pops out of one of the Wakandan's chest, and then they turn around and their portal, their space portal, their Stargate
Yep.
is overrun with aliens. So that was kind of cool to see. But I love T'Challa's look in here. I love the Wakandan soldiers. I thought that was very cool. Did you have any favorite character designs or looks from this one? Because
Hmm.
we had some new looks to some of our favorite characters. I think for me, it's got to be dude Alien Venom. Alien Venom takes the cake, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's so hard. I was gonna say Miles at
It's so
first,
sick.
but yeah, this hulking brute of an alien, and this is the xenomorph that popped out of Tony Stark too, right? So was
It
that?
is it? No, you
I,
might be
oh
right.
no
I
no no
don't
no no!
know.
I take that back. No, it was the one oh god! Now I'm misremembering this now. How did that work out? Because I thought it was because the symbiote comes off of Miles, goes onto one of the xenomorphs and takes it. Either way, whatever it is, it's freaking awesome. I can't quite recall. I thought that's the way it worked out, but yeah, I mean, come on, the brooding Hulk of a Venom xenomorph was awesome, and I love later on in the issue. I don't know if you pulled the panel when when everything's all said and done, and kind of we get our end cap to it. I like how chill the character is. They're all kind of sitting in their spaceship, and he's got like a one leg up, and he's all just like hanging out, and he's like totally cool. I'm like, holy crap, dude, you're like the biggest, baddest, like badass of this entire series, and you shouldn't be acting this way, and you totally are. And that was just like a flip that I did not see coming, but again, it's one of the many surprises that we got from this series that were totally worthwhile, and it made it be such a surprising, cool series.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was. I thought it was cool. Like spoilers, guys, but their whole back and forth and how the red one essentially defeats him or whatever, and rips him in half, and then like he just attaches to the arms and kind of like overtakes him, and it was super dope.
Yeah.
Alpha of the species, as it were. But yeah, I think you might be right on that because there's that conversation with Miles too, right? Where like, do you know
Hmm.
what you're gonna do what you have to do or whatever? So I wonder if he took the symbiote off of him, threw it in a xenomorph, and I don't know, and
I
had
think
that fight. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that was the way it played out, if I'm not mistaken here. The other cool thing though is seeing Sinister. So they have their last assaults on the Sinister symbiote, or I'm sorry, the Sinister xenomorph and his xenomorph army. And I love the fact that they talk about how prepared they are. So Logan has his healing factor.
man.
Emma is
Yeah.
impervious when she's in her diamond form, and armor, they cannot penetrate her armor when she's armored up. And Sinister just takes them out one by one by one and shows them just how wrong they were. Logan is like he's burning, like I mean, he's not dead, but he is incapacitated here as the acid just rips away his flesh. And then Sinister having the powers that he has, sure, you can't penetrate armor, but you can bamf into that thing, dude, and he
Dude,
takes her out real quick.
that scene was beautifully done. I love how she's fighting inside the armor, and there's that minute where she stops and she goes, and she can smell the sulfur.
Yeah.
Like there's that one little thing where she can smell him and inside the armor with her, and then yeah, like she gets impaled. But yeah, brutal, man. And I thought it was very cool how armor, um, was one of like the last one standing, as it were, one of like the last soldiers that
Right?
you could throw into the fray and would come out untouched. But along with Logan and who was it? Captain Marvel, I think, was one of them as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
So
we stan armor in the 9-panel grid household, okay? So she deserves some freaking respect, and she got it in this right up until the end.
absolutely, no, she really did. That was dope to see. But yeah, this one has been a fun ride, dude. Like you said, I think it's so cool to see Hickman play in the sandbox. It's one of those worlds that's perfectly built for him to tell some really cool stories and have some fun with. So
Mhm.
yeah, this one was dope, and it didn't take forever to come out. That's what one thing I was worried about, given the history behind some of Assad's uh, deadline misses. But this was on time for the most part. At least in the way that you didn't miss it or you weren't looking for it too bad. And I thought they did a great job with it. A great little standalone fun story, man. And I
Yep.
love the I just love the design of it. One of my favorite thing were the title pages,
Oh,
for each
yeah.
one, and the way they put those together with all the data. And
And it was almost like Mother, like the yeah.
yes, yeah,
Yeah, I love that stuff.
it was fantastic, dude. So yeah, any fan of the Avengers, any fan of Aliens, I think any fan of Secret Wars and Hickman and Ribbick's previous work together, I think you know all three all three parts of that Venn diagram can find something to read and enjoy here. So
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
definitely recommend this one, man. This was another a good little mini from Marvel. Um,
Dude,
anything else you wanted?
we talked 2 Marvel books,
We
and we
did.
spoke glowingly of them.
We did.
Don't
They,
let don't let any of those other guys hear this show. Like,
I
keep
feel
them out of
like,
here.
man, off the beaten path is the way to go with them, right? When they carve out these little mini series, kind of like whatever that they don't think anybody's paying attention to. That's where the best books are. But the mainstream ones, it's really, I'm trying to think of mainstream Marvel books that I'm on board with right now. I don't even know if you can consider Storm one of those.
I mean, you kind of
But
have to. It's in the 616, right? So,
yeah, but I don't know, man. As far as like heavy hitter, um, cookie cutter, big Marvel titles, there's really there's not too many I'm checking for. So it's cool when they do something new and different like this.
yeah. I will say this in regards to 616 Marvel books. I said it on my weekly review, and I'm going to say it here again just to get the word out as much as possible. Iron Man is kind of dope. Like, it's like sneakily really good. Like, they're doing some things that could, kind of mosey on into that special territory. So I'm kind of excited to see what they're doing there. So,
Where are they at on issues on that?
number 9.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's Spencer Ackerman, correct?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna put that one in the we'll see pile, I guess.
Okay, that's all right. The we'll see pile is ever growing here too. So,
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, would you like straight up recommend people spend money on it? And do you think it's like,
I
eh,
mean, no, yeah, I think I would.
yeah,
That's the
okay,
thing.
okay,
In the realm of Marvel, especially with its the way that they're handling the interconnectivity between the One World Under Doom event,
hmm
it's extraordinarily successful. There's really really cool things going on in that book here. I like it better than One World Under Doom. I think it's the best part of the event.
Oh, wow. Well, that blasphemy is. I can't say I'm surprised by it, but no, it's never welcome here. Um, all right, man. Let's move on to your it's the little things for the week, bro. Talk to me. What we got here?
Dude, it's a very simple thing that they're showing here, but this page is from the latest issue of Phantom Road, and if you're reading Phantom Road, you
Oh,
know
wow.
that it's a very X Files inspired kind of book where there are weak spots at a certain locations within the United States where you can basically move between these dimensions. And in one of these dimensions, it is basically like this zombified version of the same place where you're at, where once you get there, you're tasked with moving this alien-esque orb from one place to another. If you move far enough away from this orb, you feel it yourself physically. You start feeling weak. You will eventually die if you don't kind of do the will of this egg. But when you move between these places, there's these weak points. The color palette changes, and you can see even when you're in the other dimension in certain parts, you can see the dimension that you came from and the actions that are taking place. And you can see that within this panel where the palette is toned down and it's very gray tone here, but you're looking outside the window at night where all the lights are shining down, and he sees the activity that's happening here, where basically his partner from the FBI has about as many guns drawn on him as possible, but he can't do anything about it. He can see that, but as soon as he tries to walk out, he's within the other part of the dimension that he's in, so he can only visualize it, and you see that through the colors that are being chosen. So I thought that that team deserved a lot of credit for the work that they're doing on this book. And plus, again, not many people talk about Phantom Road nowadays, and if
I was
you're an
about to say.
X-Files fan, maybe you should be reading this.
Yeah, you should change on the pull list to the title to yes, yes, I'm still reading that.
Give it. I got my fair share of drops, man, but I would like to think that I only continue on with the best of the best, the cream of the crop.
Yeah, dude, this is I love Lemire and Gabe. They're both favorites of mine. So this was one that just kind of I lost my way on early on. I have the first 5, 6 issues, and I met Lemire. Lemire was like one of the first people I ever met at a con, and I got a
Oh,
signed copy of issue 1. So
oh,
I
that's
gotta
dope.
yeah, man, I gotta catch back up with this one.
It's an easy read. It's Lemire, so you know that that dude, like, he keeps things really sparse when it comes to how much he's writing on there. He lets the visuals really tell a lot of the storytelling.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
quick and easy.
Hell yeah. All right, moving on, man. Our covers of the week. I'm gonna let you take it away, bro.
All right. First one I have here is the great Ashley Wood taking on the covers of
So
Detective
good.
Comics. Ashley Wood has had there was a multitude in this week alone that I could have chosen for my cover of the week, but Ashley Wood has been doing a lot of great covers for DC recently. I'm gonna pick one every single time that there's one available. Basically, I
Right?
love Ashley Wood's
So
work.
sick.
It's fantastic, and it's only gotten better and better as time has gone on. If you don't know Ashley Wood, educate yourself. Go check out the work that they did in all of the wonderful art books that they did in the early 2000s, like the Sparrow series. Check out some of the series that he's doing recently here with, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it that came out. Project 7167, something along those lines. Check out the Metal Gear Solid series that they did through
Mm,
IDW back in the day. Even if you're not a video game fan or anything like that, awesome work. I'm gonna, yeah, I'm
facts.
gonna follow their work over
I'm
and
with
over.
I'm with Edson here. Like I'm with you 100%, bro. It's so great to see like a guy who was super weird in the same vein like Sam Keith was in the '90s, just
Yeah,
getting kind of like a second half renaissance. Definitely deserves that recognition.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
100%. Let's see the next cover here. I I
Mm,
I maybe had actually I was gonna say I had some words for this book. I didn't have too many words for this book. This is the variant cover for Exquisite Corpses #2. But I will say more about the Tula Lotte cover than I had to say about the issue itself. Stunning visual, awesome look to the cover here. The composition is fantastic. Tula, there's a lot of cover artists out there that get a lot of recognition that's, I don't know. I don't quite get it sometimes here. I'm not going to name names here, but what I will say is I think that Tula is amongst the top tier of the cover artists that we get to see nowadays. This is further proof of that.
I agree 100%, bro.
Yep. Uh Dude,
Ooh,
Jorge Fornes. Nightwing.
Jorge never misses. Jorge
No,
never misses.
Jorge needs to be on the freaking interiors of another book
He
outside of
does.
Tom King.
So
Not
true.
Yeah, like, I mean, you could work with Tom King. I'm not saying that that's work is bad. I'm just saying you need to do more. Like, I need you on a Daredevil book ASAP,
Ooh,
please,
dude, that would be so
please.
sick.
this cover for Nightwing, speaking of Daredevil, reminds me of one of the Daredevil issues here. I believe it might have been issue 200 here, the Fall from Grace storyline, where you see Matt Murdock falling from Fisk Tower, and it's just the smallest of small silhouettes of a character among on this white background, just falling from a building, very much like that. Although I love that this is the inverted version of that.
Mm,
So he's falling. It's almost like that Spider-Verse scene, where he's falling, but he's falling upward.
yeah,
It that sense. I love the scale, the scope, and I love that the Nightwing symbol is lit up in the lights of the building right behind him too. So
so sick, man.
sometimes it's not about rendering. Sometimes it's not about hyper detailed stuff. Sometimes it's about composition. This is
Composition
composition.
and concept gets you a long way with me.
Yep, exactly. If you could be a visual storyteller, it's going to do 90% of the work for you. Last but not least, here we have the variant cover for the penultimate issue of Zatanna. It's a magic issue, man. And what is she doing? She's kind of pulling a rabbit out of a hat. The hat happens to be her face, though. It's crazy. It's kooky. It's altogether spooky. It's not the Addams Family. It's Zatanna. It deserves some recognition, though. I really love this cover. I thought it looked fantastic.
How was the issue? I still haven't caught up.
It's good. It was actually really
Yeah.
good. The series has been it's wavered from great to good. It's never gotten bad by any means, but it's kind of been like, oh, okay. And this
Hmm.
last issue has been, I feel like they picked up the pace, and it was a really cool. It was a cool setup for what was going to be the finale. I'll leave it at that.
Hell yeah. I've been enjoying that one. Shout out to Jamal Campbell, doing the writing and the art on that one. All right, is that for you? That it for you? This.
I believe that does it
All
for me.
right,
So
brother.
what you got?
I will take it over. Battle Beast number 2 came out. Lee Bermejo just doing a boss ass cover, um, for
Ooh.
I think like a some type of variant. Yeah, I saw this one, fell in love with that. Love Lee, love his style, and I think he's really killing it on here. I just love the lighting on Battle Beast here. Looks
Heck yeah.
fantastic. Lee always wanted to watch out for. Dude, I bought this one at the con. I didn't even know it came out last week. I saw it on the shelf. I said, "Is that a Kevin Eastman Doom?" Indeed, it was, my
Yoink.
friends. That's an automatic buy, no problem. Easiest $5 ever spent. But yeah, bring on the bad guys. Doom number 1 dropped this past week by I think written by Mark Guggenheim. A bunch of great variants. But yeah, the Kevin Eastman one. Kevin Eastman doing Doom is a no brainer. So had to
Yeah.
pick this one up. Love that. Love all the attention my boy's been getting here lately.
The Kirby crackle too. Like
I
we
know,
we know
right?
we know he loves Kirby, and the crackle there.
And the flames behind it. Oh, get out
Heck
of
yeah.
here. Martin Simmons doing a Virgin variant for Exquisite Corpses number 2. I just love the look of the mask here and the reflections in it. Just fantastic. Martin's one of the best artists out there doing it these days. So this one was dope. Like, I don't know, they call it a Virgin variant, but there isn't any non-Virgin non-virgin version of this cover. So I didn't know what was going on with that, but regardless, it looks fantastic. Um, yeah, always a fan of his art and his compositions. And then cover A, man, I had to give love to Sam Nee. I love this one. So many of the covers in this series have been brilliant. This one is no different. Again, Lopez with the coloring and those blues, across. I guess is that Hagen's face, I believe.
Yeah, that's
Um,
that's the Clayface,
yeah,
the mask that he would wear. Yeah.
yeah. But just gorgeous, man. Just I love the approach here. This series always has something brilliant, old but new to offer you. We
Hmm.
obviously sung his praises earlier, but yeah, check out the covers for previous issues, guys. I really do think it has some of the strongest of the year when it comes to cover A. So shout out to Wade and Sam Nee yet again, just doing incredible work. Last but not least, we met the man. We met the man at
Yes.
Heroes. We got to tell him what an amazing artist he is, and it was just dope to see him. But yeah, I didn't even know this existed until he was like, "Hey, I left that Panosian variant for you, and I had to go ahead and slap it on there. So shout out to you for throwing me that softball. But yeah, he's doing an incredible job on these Catwoman variants. He's doing an incredible job on cover work. You know, all throughout Marvel and DC. So it's been also another artist, a la Ashley Wood, who is really enjoying a second half of their career renaissance right now, and it's beautiful to see. Man, he's taking full advantage of it, and it's really great when you see these guys, you know, not just get jobs, but like you can tell they're inspired.
Oh
They
yeah.
got the you know they got the fire in their belly again, and they're really putting out incredible work. And dude, Dan is killing it. I don't think there's not like it's rare. You know, some of these variant artists or these cover artists or people that are only known for covers. I see, you know, I'm kind of ticky tack with some of their work. Some of their stuff I like, some of their stuff I don't. With Dan, everything is such a banger. Everything is such a beauty, and he's such a chameleon with his style. Sometimes you can tell it's a Dan cover. Other times you can't. But he always surprises you. And he brings such a amazing consistency, and it's just so cool to see somebody who you know I grew up with. As an anchor and kind of like somebody on the sidelines really kind of take center stage at this point in his career and kill it. So shout out to Dan the man.
It's the coolest thing, right? Seeing an artist, like we've seen artists stagnate or kind of stay the same and stay true to what they were over the decades, and it's really cool for me to see artists grow and evolve, change. What whatever that determines to be. But seeing Dan, like you said, become an inker, to then become a full-time pencilist here and kind of put forth their own artwork, to become a storyteller and take writing duties. He's coloring his own work, and we'd be remiss to not say the phrase that we say each and every time that we have one of these covers here. It's freaking Panosian time, baby. Like, come on.
Dude, tell the people what he told you when we told him, like we told Dan that we shout him out. Well, so our goal was to get a soundbite from Dan. We wanted it, but you know, every time I walked by his table, he had somebody talking to him. And the time I went and I was actually like waiting in line for him, he had a guy walk up and the guy had a collab jam piece with all
Oh,
different
dude.
X-Men, and he had a spot picked out for Dan, and Dan was trying to decide what X-Men he was going to draw. So I didn't want to, you know, sometimes you see these guys that are about to draw something or they're in the middle of something, you want to interrupt them.
Yeah.
However, E was I'll let you tell the story. Tell him what you said.
So I was talking to Dan. I had some books to be signed, as I alluded to on our last show. And I told him, I was like, hey, maybe this is a little weird. In fact, I know it's a little bit weird, but I'm going to go ahead and let you in on the little secret that your covers have been spotlighted so much so that basically, we have to default and just say we're showing off covers. It's Panosian time. So he was just like, oh my God, I can't believe, like this is a thing. Like, really, for my covers? I'm like, yeah, for your covers here. If you would do me a solid, can you, and I'm going to solo myself here for a second. I was like, can you maybe sign one of these books here? And sure enough, lo and behold, we got our boy, Mayor Luke Cage, announcing it's Panosian time. So I was loving that. And as I saw him later on during the con, I go to say, hey, thank you for everything. He's like, oh, by the way, you know, I'm definitely telling this to my wife here. So next time, we're talking everything, I'm gonna have to let her know, hey, whoa, 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 it's Panosian time.
Notion time.
So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
it was awesome seeing him, awesome getting some books signed and letting him in on the secret that yeah, here on Ink and Insights here, it's always Panosian time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's it for me for covers. Did I say tacky tacky little boxes little? I probably said both words 4 times. No, he had so I forget if it a covery or like an I don't know. I forget if it was a cover or like a comic book board page or something like that. But he had some really dope. The guy had it all like lined up into grids, right? And he had already had several artists draw different X-Men in it. He had a little box lined up for Dan that he wanted. That's one thing I would love to do at a con is create a cover, right? Exactly.
Mhm.
But it is. But definitely going to cost you some money. But like to create a cover with a bunch of jam pieces, like all different members of a team, you know what I mean? All different members of a set or a comic or something like that. I love that idea.
That'd
So
be amazing. Yeah.
yeah, I did read number one, and I enjoyed it, but I haven't read any more from that. Did you read Lost Boy or
I,
Last Boy, bro?
I'm in the same boat. I read number one. I still got to play catch up on it though. I did enjoy issue number one too. It's just stacks of books. Like you can't even see off camera. I got a table full of books. Heroes Con gets my weekly, pickups here. So yeah, yeah.
Oh
We're
yeah,
gonna circle back around to it though because we appreciate Dan.
absolutely. Like Fable said, he never disappoints. So shout out Dan the man. Um, all right, brother. Comics Futures Past.
I'm gonna need your help here a little bit. I just read this for the first
Yes.
time today. I'm working my
Oh,
way
you read
through.
it?
Oh yeah, yeah. I can't talk about it without reading it, right? But I'm working my way
Sure, you can.
through the Alan Moore Swamp Thing story, and this is further on into the story than I am currently at right now. But I had to
Yeah.
spotlight four comics of futures past here. Swamp Thing number 53, released on June 25th in 1986. What a wonderful year for comics here. What happens in this issue is that Abby, the lover of Swamp Thing, is being held prisoner in Gotham City. Swamp Thing ain't having that. They are not going to. They're not going to let that stand, basically. But if you're going into Gotham City, there is a certain vigilante by night that is basically going to make sure that that city is sound, and so it's kind of sort of the Swamp Thing versus Batman issue, but not really. It's more, I wouldn't say a team up, but it's kind of a cool way that they resolve everything that's going on here. But crazy things are going on here. In the real world here, there's a lot of mimicking of what's happening in the real world and what's happening in the comic books. You
Mm,
see a scathing quote from Ronald Reagan, who had in real life made the proclamation that trees arguably cause more pollution than automobiles. And you hear that and you see that on the pages of this book here
that's wild. What a
As
wild thing
Alan
to
Moore
say.
basically backhands Ronald Reagan here, rightfully so, for making such a stupid statement here.
Jesus.
Um, you also see a juxtaposition with the titling of this, as this issue is titled The Garden of Earthly Delights. This is inspired by a Norwegian painting here that depicts basically heaven and hell, and it really kind of leans on the idea of the dangers of temptation, which is largely what this issue is about, with Abby being held prisoner here for no other reason than for being the lover of the plant-like, non-humanoid but kind of humanoid creature that is the Swamp Thing, and not really Alec Holland, but kind of Alec Holland, but not really. So it was a cool, I don't know, look at the inspiration that Alan Moore is kind of driving off of and what he's using to craft these storylines. And as you had told me earlier on today too, I believe this may be Kevin Smith's favorite issue of Swamp Thing.
I think so. Yeah, I think I've heard him say that before. Like this or the other one, because I think it's like a 2 part or 3 part issue arc with Gotham. But yeah, definitely one of Kevin Smith's favorite comics. One of my favorite comics. Like this arc is, to me, this was like Moore hadn't gotten to Killing Joke yet, and this is kind of his excuse to write Batman. And not only that, but like the showdown when Swamp Thing is in Gotham, kind of threatening Gotham, Gotham's protector shows up. The showdown between Gotham and Batman is, Swamp Thing and Batman is so short lived. He gets that ass whooped. He shows up with like basically like a leaf blower and some pesticide, and thinks
Yeah.
that's gonna thinks that's gonna solve the problem. And that this is Swamp Thing kind of embracing the fuller extent of his powers, right? And
Mhm.
he literally does. I love how you have this sentence in here, turns Gotham into a bouquet for Abby, because he literally does turn it into a paradise, right?
Yeah.
There's so many great lines of more narration in this one, at per usual Swamp Thing, but just kind of like returning the earth to a paradise, um, and and we get Taliban and Bissett really doing like that image on the right of Kaiju Swamp Thing is incredible. We
Yeah.
get so many of like honestly the series' most memorable images. There's one where he's bursting through, and there's like these. He's bursting through the floorboard and the courthouse, and there's all these roses flying everywhere. I mean, there's so many iconic images from this arc, and yeah, dude, it's like on the surface, it's Abby gets arrested for having relations for plants, and
Yeah.
Swamp Swamp Thing goes next level in response, but it's so much more than that, right? It's beautiful and poetic, and if you read Alan Moore before, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. My feeble words do fall so far short of explaining how great these issues in this prose is. So I highly encourage you if you guys haven't checked the Gotham arc out or the Swamp Thing run out in general. Highly encourage you to do so. Tomorrow morning on the Dr. Doom's Fan Club channel, we will have a breakdown with the entire Ink and Insights crew going over issue 21, the autopsy lesson, the first more issue in this run, as it were, and an issue that really changed comic books forever, and on a variety of ways. So I can't wait for you guys to check that out. And if you want a starting point or a dive in point for Moore's run, check that video out and
It's an
see what you're
incredible.
thinking. Yeah, it's literally, if not the best, one of the best issues of comic books of all time, and really a textbook, a masterclass, like you said in the video, on how to reinvent a character and move forward with it. And so yeah, I could wax poetic about Moore and Swamp Thing all day, but this was I got super hyped to see this one featured on Comics of Futures Past. So great pick, bro.
Be on the lookout for Stu's sister channel, Alec Collins Fan Club, here coming soon to a YouTube near you. Something else that this issue reminded me of, and we can't go back in a time machine to 1986 and know what was happening here, but we know that there's editorial dictates that need to happen, or sometimes sales are slumping, and so they say, hey, you got to throw these characters in here, you got to do something to boost sales. And Batman being in this issue makes me think that while we look back at this as a critical darling, and while it's like one of the most inspirational and best comic book runs and series known to man, it makes me wonder if throwing Batman into there was something that DC was like, "Hey, we gotta bump the numbers here."
Right?
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
reminds me of Ram V when he was writing Swamp Thing and the Suicide Squad movie came out, so everything became a Suicide Squad team tie-in, and
Mm,
how he so masterfully fit them into the story, made it make sense, and didn't let it derail the story of Swamp Thing that he was telling with Levi, and how this story again it becomes something more than what maybe it could have been, being that just like, oh, Batman and Swamp Thing are in a book together to boost sales. It becomes a hallmark here when you have the right creative team that can embrace that and make it more so than just the money producing thing that maybe it could
absolutely,
have been
dude.
from editorial.
Because Moore really uses this as the catalyst for like the final run of the series. Spoilers, but at the end of the Gotham arc, he gets nuked by a Lex Luthor manufactured weapon, and really his essence is sent careening across the cosmos. And in those issues, we get some of the most trippy, spaced out, psychedelic things happening. Until he eventually comes back down to Earth. But it's also like such a beautiful way to transition, what's happening on Earth into, Swamp Thing in the stars, as it were. And
Yep.
yeah, it's like you said, dude. It's kind of a great example of taking what you're given and making something more out of it. So, pun intended. So, yeah, I can't recommend Swamp Thing enough, guys. Like it's my favorite. Alan Moore's my favorite comic book writer of all time. This is my favorite comic book run of all time. So highly recommend it if you haven't checked it out already.
There we are.
All right. This week, bro. I've already see this was one of the joys of Heroes. I got to read a comic before it came out. News from the Fallout. I was reading in the hotel room a couple days ago before it even hit shelves, right?
Heck yeah.
Heck,
So yeah, I mean, when I saw that on the con floor, I'm
thanks,
like,
dude. Thank you.
I was doing double takes. Like, is that out yet? Did that hit? Like, did I miss something? And no, yeah, it was an early pickup here from the booth of a certain artist of that book. So that was pretty darn cool.
Hell yeah, Chris Condon, Jeffrey Nally, I love doing like a like the book says, news like a tale of what happens when nuclear fallout kind of goes wrong. Super trippy, um, ethereal, haunting. I don't know how else to put it. Um, Kind of a throwback book, but also I don't know, very of the times, and just cool and trippy, and a nice little horror aspect to it. So definitely check that out. That's definitely at the tops of my list for this week, and of course, Martian Manhunter and Assorted Crisis Events. What are you looking forward to?
I'm a filthy scrub. I have not read News from the Fallout as of yet, so apologies to Chris
Wow,
Condon
I
and
read a
Jeffrey Allen.
Condon book before you did. What's going on
Yeah,
here, bro?
yeah.
What's
I
going
don't
on?
know. Well, it may have something to do with sleep deprivation and flight delays. I'll blame it
I
on that for
mean,
right now.
if you want to make excuses, that's okay.
I know. Yeah. I've read a couple issues so far. There's a lot of cool things. From what I have not read yet, I'm digging Minor Arcana. I feel like it's building now.
Oh
It's
hell yeah!
yeah, Jeff Lemire books tend to be a little bit slow burn, but slow burn in the best way. This feels like that best way. Plus,
Hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, it is. Okay, so there's a different artist on this book, but that different artist, they're the same ones that took over last issue, and it fits Lemire's stylistic approach perfectly. So I'm kind of excited to see where they can take that. Keeping with Chris Condon's work, dude, Green Arrow. Green Arrow is probably one of my absolute favorite superhero books right now. So I'm really excited to see them jump into this next arc and see where they're going to take that now that the freshwater killer portion of the story has been all wrapped up. The seasons, Rick Remender, doing
Yes,
fantastic work, work that feels so against the grain of what they normally do, but
very true.
also with that being said, like I feel like he goes against the grain with a lot of the work that he does. He kind of keeps you on your toes and can surprise you. This is arguably the most surprising work of his career to me, though. When you pair that with Paul Aceceda on artwork, bringing that Tintin s quality with the minimalistic artwork on there, yeah, it's hard to not excite me with that. Um, One other one that is just weird because I can't explain it to you, but the artwork is stunning, ultra mega. This is the final issue of that series.
Oh shit!
James Heron, like, I mean, even I don't care if I don't understand why the kaijus are punching each other and why someone has a giant head that needs to be wheeled around on a cart and why their son is maybe now possibly a super, Saiyan Power Ranger type character. I don't care. Like, I don't need explanation. I just need to see James Heron drawing big monstrosity body horror punch and kick things. So, like, yeah, give me that. Give me all that in my life.
Hell yeah! I completely forgot about that. I got to catch up on Ultra Mega. Shout out James Heron, one of the sickest doing it. All right, so
Yes.
once I left off the list, Ultimate Spider-Man number 18,
Oh,
great
yeah.
series.
Hmm.
Absolute Wonder Woman number 9, of course, dude. The cover
Yep.
for Absolute Wonder Woman number 9. Sheesh.
Let's see. I got that. I got that right. Yeah.
God Almighty. Yeah, show that thing off if you can.
Yeah. Let's
That
catch
is
it in the light here. Yeah, with the
gorgeous.
Minotaur. I love the mask that she's wearing too that we were introduced.
Yes.
Like this armor, she looks menacing as hell in this
Hell
book.
yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Um, Hold on. There's a couple others. Void Rivals number 20. Definitely gonna pick that one up. And then, dude, these Nick Klein covers for Incredible Hulk have been nuts. Like this one for number 26 is absolutely insane. But that I fell off that series a long time ago. But I think
Yeah. Yeah.
Nick's still been doing incredible work on those covers. Uh, Hold on, there was one more out of Alcatraz. Number 4 was the one I wanted to shout out.
Dang, dude. I
Um,
fell off of that series so hard after issue 1. I can't remember what happened. I think maybe my shop was shorted or something like that. And then I just never picked it back up, but it's deserving. So that's a trade weight for me, but I'm excited to circle back around.
Hell yeah, that one's been. been pretty solid.
Yeah.
And I think we covered most of them. A lot of those books with like eight words in the titles are coming out next week. We're taking
Oh,
everyone down with us.
yes.
You'll do bad
Yes.
things. Yeah. Yeah, we're taking everyone down with us has been phenomenal so far. Or I don't know about phenomenal, but it's been solid. It's been intriguing.
You could say phenomenal. I won't
I don't
disagree with
know.
you.
I know I'm not. You're in the phenomenal. I'm in the intriguing. I
Uh,
think.
You said
Um,
phenomenal before I did, so take that for what it's worth.
all right, fair enough. I made that bet. I'll lay it. Yeah, but I think that's it. That's a good enough coverage for next week. Anything you wanted to mention that we didn't get to this week around this time around, bro?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. There's something worth mentioning because I mentioned it to you about 17 times over the weekend here. Me and my wife were watching Severance, and I didn't think that I was going to dig on
Ah,
Severance, and I'm digging Severance in a big bad way. It is so weird and so intriguing and so delighting. And if you've ever worked in an office landscape, oh my God, do they get the nuances of every single cringe thing in an office so right? But it's done so not like the show The Office where they got a lot of the stuff right, but it's like the most menacing and most bizarre versions of those idiosyncrasies of office style work. They just they hit the nail on the head so hard, and it's I can't really describe how they do it, not because it's spoilery, but because it's almost impossible to describe without you just going, what does that even mean? It's like indescribable. So check out Severance if you have the capability to do so. Adam Scott is killing it in that show. Ben Stiller is the creator of it, directs a lot of the episodes as well. It's awesome. It is so worthwhile if you're in the mood for some crazy style TV.
yeah. I'm gonna stick in that same vein, and I don't know if it's today or tomorrow, but the new season of The Bear is dropping. Is it today?
Is today
Is
the
it out today?
25th? If today's the 25th, brother,
Today's the 25th, bro. Holy shit, it's
let her
out.
rip.
What
It's
have I
time
been
to watch
doing
the
all day?
bear.
What have I been doing all day? Um, Guys, so I work in you know, I'm a cook slash kitchen manager. I've been in the restaurant industry since 2009. There's never been as far as like movies or TV shows that we've had that properly emulate our way of life and what we go through. There has been nothing that comes close to the bear. So for me, this show is deep on a variety of fronts. I think even if you don't work in kitchens or in the food industry, you can find so many things that are relatable, as he has, and that punch you in the gut and really make you a fan of the show. But I think especially for those of us who are cooks or who find ourselves in hospitality, this show just rings true on ways you can't really properly describe or translate or see see get expressed in film or TV. So it's beautiful to have a show that really represents us and the kind of thankless struggle we often go through day to day. So especially my boy. Um, in the show. He's an even we're all gluttons for punishment, but him even more so. But
Oh,
dude,
Carmi. Yeah.
yeah, old Carmi, we got left on such a cliffhanger at the end of season 2 about how things ended up, what was the success, what's gonna happen, this and that. So I can't wait to watch our new episodes and see what's going on and you know. Um, there's just so many. I just can't wait for like the moments I'm not expecting to either like punch me right in the heart or make me laugh or it's just so well written. Got such an amazing cast of characters and it's so real and authentic to that way of life. So
I thought it was weird when we were at Heroes Con and you had like 17 books laid out that Daniel Warren Johnson had just signed, and you look over your shoulder at me and Nick, and you're like, "Hands! I need hands, chef." I was like, "What?" It all makes sense now. It's all coming full
uh,
circle. So
don't want to get locked in the walk in, bro. Don't want to get locked in the walk in. But yeah, um, yeah, I I need to finalize my list of non-negotiables and send that over to you. But yeah, if you guys get a chance, check out The Bear, check out Severance, two amazing shows on Apple Plus and what The Bear's on Hulu, right?
FX, Hulu, yeah, whatever one of those, and all the episodes drop at the same time. So, yeah, in about 3 minutes, I think I'm gonna be watching The Bear now.
Dude, I'm so mad I didn't watch one episode yet until now, so I can't wait to get to it. But yeah, man, real quick, I got over at Doctor Doom's fan club, surrounded by short boxes. This is last week's episode. I covered Untold Legend of the Batman. It's a miniseries, 3-issue miniseries. These things were mini comics. They originally dropped in 1980 and then again in '89 with their release of the Tim Burton movie. They kind of cover Batman's origin up to the point where kind of before the point rather where it got retconned by Crisis on Infinite Earths in year one, and there's still a lot of bizarre things happening with Batman. Here he's getting raised by Uncle Philip and Joe Chill's mother. Detective Harvey Harris is teaching him
Wild.
how to be a crime fighter. Um, his dad Thomas Wayne is kind of his inspiration to become Batman. He was the first Batman, as it were. So, a whole lot of bizarre Batman origins that you didn't really know about were happening in the early to mid '80s, and this kind of just covers it. So check that out. And then tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. I got the anatomy lesson dropping, and this one is special because it's an Ink and Insights production, guys. I got my boys E and Nick with me, and we're going to talk about Alan Moore's opening salvo, his amazing diabolical deconstruction retcon of Swamp Thing in issue 21, the anatomy lesson. So I got the guys along with me. They gave some brilliant insights, and I had a lot of fun putting this together. Brilliant pop culture references abound. We got Terminator and Jaws and Christopher Lee as Dracula and so on and so forth. So make sure you guys check it out. It will be dropping on my channel tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. E, what you got coming out this week, bro?
We have the shortest of short versions of On the Pull List here as I plowed through about 13, 14 books here in a day and filmed and edited. So basically, I took one big breath and spewed a bunch of words at the camera and then hit record. I think my thoughts were concise enough that you can get what I was trying to say, though. So make
Dude,
sure
can
you
I
check
just
that.
say, like, you call that a jet lag edition, bro? You had so much like energy on that joint, like more so than usual. Like usually you be a little bit more reserved. On that one, you felt like animated and you had gas in the tank. I did not get jet lag vibes off of any of that
Yeah,
video.
what you
You
don't
felt
see is
you
as soon as the camera
re-energized.
turns off, I fell
You go to
face
sleep.
first on the
Yeah.
floor and went to sleep. Man, this was so freaking rough, but I'm glad that I got it out for everyone to see. So yeah, check out On the Pull List here. Dropped a little bit later than normal here, but blame United Airlines for that one, not my fault. Other than that, next week, just wanted to kind of pump this up here. We
Yes.
have on Ink and Insights the Heroes Con Hangover Edition, where we're going to go over all of our gets, who we saw, what kind of conversations we had, what kind of awesome YouTube content creators we were able to meet, some for the first time, some yet again here for our second year in a row going to this one. Um,
Is that baby
yeah,
Claremont?
it's a little baby Claremont. Yeah, I'm glad you noticed that.
That's awesome. I love that. I
Yeah,
love how
so
I'm definitely the one who got a tooth knocked out and needs ice. Yeah, that's definitely that's appropriate.
So join us next week here for another installment of Ink and Insights, where we will all three of us, me, Stu, and Nick, be getting together to go over everything Heroes Con related.
Baby
Uh,
Claremont is fucking. The more you look at it, the more he gets you.
oh yeah, spoilers! Second year in a row where we got to have breakfast with Claremont. So if that doesn't entice you enough to come see us again next Wednesday, I just don't know what will. So check us out next week here on 9 Panel Grid for Ink and Insights episode 38.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go check out E on 9 Panel Grid. Check out Nick on Comic Culture. Yeah, make sure you sub it to all the fellas. Real quick, let me get to the comments before we get out of here. Eddie said he's still reading the stack, but such a good week. Hell yeah, bro. This
Yep.
week was really solid. This one coming up. Hell yeah. Ultra Mega Finale was dope, says Eddie. Damn, I gotta check.
Good.
Gotta
Yes.
catch up. Gotta
That's
catch up.
exciting.
Oh yeah. Magic Lantern, Feral, Spidey Wolvie. Ooh, Spidey Wolvie number two's coming out.
Spidey
Good
Wolvie, I
luck.
read that one already. It's kinetic. It's kinetic. I'll say
Oh
that
my
much.
god. Carrie Andrews is like one of my favorites, like right now. I just doing incredible work.
Yeah, for sure.
Department of Truth. I got to catch up on that one as well. And Tramps of the Apocalypse. That sounds interesting. I'm gonna have to check that one out, Eddie.
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah, good recommendations, bro. Yeah, Fable says Nick Klein is so good. Absolutely,
Yes.
brother. Ooh, good picks, man. Good picks. Yeah,
Assorted. Yeah, I'm excited to pick up that one.
Martian Manhunter as well. Eric Larson cover for Spidey vs. Wolverine is sick. Hell
It is.
yeah.
It
I
really
love,
is.
dude. That's so on brand too with what the '90s energy they're bringing for that
Heck
book.
yeah.
Omega says everyone should take their kids to go see the new Pixar movie Elio. Really gets you in the feels though. Hell yeah, dude. Good recommendation. I'll have to check that one out.
Pixar's great at like pulling at your heartstrings, man. I mean, I've seen Up multiple times at this
I will
point, and that
sob like a baby. I
that
will sob
beginning
like a
part
baby
just oh
if you put that shit on right now.
yeah.
Dude, that one, like, yeah, absolutely. Pixar does a great job appealing to both kids and adults. So, hell yeah. Um, oh yeah, it's and thank you all guys for all of y'all who came through and spent some time with us tonight. Hope everybody is having a great week. Um, those of you we saw at Heroes, it was an honor and a privilege to get to see you and meet you. For those of
Yep.
you that we didn't, I hope to see you next year or the year after. Always a great time, but hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Again, you can see me tomorrow night on Blood Spider Chatter at 9 p.m. Eastern for 28 Years Later, and on One Collection Down on Friday night, Blaine Fable and
Oh,
His Amazing Friends at 9 p.m. Eastern.
monthly comic book review
Oh
show over
yeah,
at
I
Pop
guess
Culture
Robbie's
Philosophers
show
as
too.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess his ass needs a plug too. Yeah,
Me, you,
seven
Nick, Greg, Bearded Comic Bro. Yeah, we
7
cannot
p.m.
forget that. That's
Eastern.
going to be a good time.
7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on Robbie's channel on Pop Culture Philosophers. So check us there. Any of those fine channels. But yeah, thank you guys all for coming through. Oh, Damien Station, brother, good
Damien.
to see you. We're about to get out of here, but thank everybody for coming through. Have a great week. We will see you next time for our Heroes Con.